Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the 20-minute fashion distraction. I am Jacqueline Jenkins, the host of the 20-minute fashion distraction and the founder of Sophisticated Creations, the community for the savvy fashionista. You know what we do every Wednesday night? We talk total fashion. And tonight is no different. Actually, we're talking fashion, we're talking design, we're talking entrepreneurship, we're talking philanthropy, just much, 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 much. So, because there's so much to cover, I am going to bring on my guest, Mr. Etu Evans. Hi, Etu.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I am great. I am great. I was just saying, there's so much to cover that I definitely wanted to quickly bring you on so that we could get started. I see that my mom is here. Good to see you. Hey, mom. So what I like to do is before getting into the questions,
Mhm.
share a few thoughts about my guest, and that way the audience knows not only do I think they're special, but why. So, Mr. Evans is one of the hottest shoe designers, um, and who has designed for the likes of Beyonce, Tyra Banks, Solange, Cynthia Bailey, the late Aretha Franklin, and I like the way he says it in his press kit. They have either bounced in his heels or strutted in his design. So amazing to see. Um, there are also, through his collection, there are men that have worn his shoes. So some of the men that you may know are Eric Benet, Michael B. Jordan. He's also, and I thought this was pretty interesting, the founder of a luxury cannabis skincare line. And we're going to hear more about his philanthropic arm of his business, which is Soulsville, which is very wonderful to see. Not only is he designing, but he's doing good for folks in the world. Footwear News has named him the Prince of Footwear. And if you follow his Instagram at E2 Evans, you would have seen a post last week where we actually was more of a king post though, but still the same thought. Very, very dynamic. And yes, he's a man of Omega Psi Phi. And there you go. And he has a signature of purple bottoms on his shoes, which I think he has a picture of that. Yes, yes, yes. And I see your homegirl Adrian says excited about the chat. She says, "Hey,"
Hey,
um,
Adrian, how are you?
and and there's so much more than just shoes. So we're going to get into the chat. So I've actually had the pleasure of knowing E2 for now almost a decade and a half. And you were in fashion when I met you, but you were not always in fashion. Can you talk a little bit about how you got into fashion and kind of what that journey was like?
Well, actually, I was always into fashion, but
Okay.
I got my master's at Columbia in applied behavioral science. So I moved from behavioral therapist to a retail therapist.
Got it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see Claudia's here. Hey, Judith. And I see Jack is here. And kind of one of the things that I know you shared was just talking about the moment when you made the connection in actually I believe you were in Paris when you made the connection to go from behavioral therapy into fashion. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. I worked as a private behavioral therapist all across Europe. And on my days off on the weekends, I would go to Paris and hang out. And a gentleman, I was wearing this orange Kenzo blazer. And I noticed that this gentleman was running towards me. So typical New York mentality. I thought he was trying to rob me, so I ran up an escalator, and it was this African brother. He says, "You look impeccable. That guy probably just wants to compliment you. You should go back down." So I shook his hand, took the escalator back down, and he said, "I just wanted to tell you, you look great. Who are you? I would like to have a drink with you. What do you do?" He said, "You look smart, but are you just in fashion? What do you do? I'm just curious." And he was the publicist for Gucci.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Well, that all makes sense. All makes sense. And as Judith says, she hears your New York, although there's South Carolina roots, she hears some New York in your voice as well.
Yeah, I've been running around New York since middle school. And it's been over 30 years, so I consider the city to be home. But every tree definitely has its roots. So shout out to the Berg as well.
Awesome. And Whitney Brown is here. So thanks for joining us. So, what was the inspiration? And I don't want to give the TED Talk away because I want my audience to go hear the TED Talk.
Okay.
I had the pleasure of hearing it and was blown away. So, without
Thank
giving
you.
away the talk, can you share the inspiration behind your TED Talk?
Absolutely. I believe shoes are the diaries of our lives. I like to say that my shoes are Viagra without the side effects. I believe everything that we do in life is actually coming from our soul. And I say that because shoes are magical. Dorothy, she clicked her heels and she found her way back home. One pair of shoes changed Cinderella's life forever. And I was fascinated when I love history, but to separate or make the demarcation between man and beast, people of color were denied shoes for many years. And I think that's why we love them so much. So in my TED talk, I give a historical timeline. I talk about the color of the soles. Everybody talks about red bottoms. I personally am biased, think purple bottoms are better, but it's not a new phenomenon. That's what the king used to separate the king's court from the peasants. So I give it's really fascinating if you watch the TED talk because you'll find out that men were the first to wear high heel shoes. Women only wore them to masculinize their outfits. And in fact, high heels weren't even designed to be worn. They were used by the Persian army to keep their balance. So when they shot their bow and arrow, they could be more effective hunters.
That is also so. So that thank you for that,
You're
because
welcome.
not only was it in that's informative, but just really interesting aspects of fashion and heels that is new. Where can we find the TED Talk?
Oh, you can just go to TED Talk and put in Etu Evans, Etuevans, and it'll pop right up. Etu Evans leaving a footprint. And that's what I think shoes really are a metaphor for life. Everywhere we go, you have to ask yourself, what footprint am I leaving? Who do I want to follow me? Shoes are sentimental.
It's a very deep TED Talk, so you guys definitely check it out and let me know what you think. Hi, Marissa. Good to see you. So, you recently shared that you were in Atlanta at the National Black Caucus of state legislatures. And you made the point that that experience kind of changed the way you were thinking about design. Can you kind of elaborate on that? Like what happened and what made you, after all that you've done, like what created an aha there?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm the creative director of Harlem World magazine, so I have the latest article out. You will enjoy it. Normally, I focus on things like the superheroes of fashion, like Andre Leon Talley and his chiffon trenches. But being at the National Black Caucus of state legislators, I was hired to design the entire conference and gala. I did all the flowers, the props, everything lighted, all of the furniture design. And as I was doing that, I began to say to myself, though they are here to highlight their constituents' concerns, I started to notice a pattern. And fashion has a pattern, it has a texture, it has a sensibility, it represents something. And I saw those people in a fashionable way representing their constituents. So I said, wow, maybe this next article should be how is justice tailored? And that's how I added a fashionable approach to
It's
the conference.
That's awesome. And where can the audience? And my mom is like, "Is it a podcast?" So we'll have to make sure that she gets the TEDx. I'll make sure I send her that. Where can they see the Harlem World article? Because actually, that was another great article.
Thank you. It's doing well. It's actually going to be up on their site. I was just informed, so I was excited to hear that. You can just go to Harlem World Magazine
Okay.
and it'll pop up. And I have a column. It's called Etu's World. So there are a
Wow.
lot of exciting fashion articles there. And the latest thing I'm working on, and I'll talk about that when I get to my designs, is I coined this new term, Covinista, and what that means for where we are and how that's impacting design as well. So I'm going to focus on that aspect of what a Covinista is and how
Hmm.
to take your basics and make them eatumus.
Ooh. Okay. Can't not wait for to hear more about that. Adrian says Justice tailored. She's intrigued, wants to hear more. So you brought samples. Before we go on to more questions, can you share the samples?
Anything for you. This is a custom dyed python duffel with the tassel pulls.
Oh my
And
gosh. Love it.
can you see it? The custom Etu logo.
No, okay. I didn't see the logo. Got it. Beautiful. Beautiful. I, I like that bag.
Thank you. And this is the matching stiletto. So when you
Beautiful.
walk, this strap that you see here, it pulls forward and it fits to the foot.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Make sure I get it in the frame. I think I'm going this way. There we go.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Uh, did this for an editorial shoot. It's satin.
Very nice. I see you like the heels. You're making sure that the
Oh,
heels are rocking. Awesome,
absolutely.
awesome.
But I bought a kitten heel.
Okay.
You see
Come
that?
come in the frame a little bit on that.
There
Beautiful.
we go.
And it's is that is how high up is that boot?
Well, this comes all the way up to the knee.
There we go. There we go. Oh, I
Um,
see it. Judith wants to know, can she buy?
well, actually, due to COVID, I'm changing my design model. Everything was made to measure. Like I made that boot and that bag, but now I'm getting ready with the factories again in Italy. I'm just trying to see where we are with COVID. But this is another sample. But when it's actually done, the clutch, it will actually have a gusset. So
Mm,
it's python, pony, and leather.
beautiful.
Thank you. And last but not, well, I'll show you the sneaker. Took this out of the archives because just in case I'm working as a backup to address the Covinista. So this was the first sneaker I made in 2000. So this is
Wow.
handmade, not factory made, just figuring it out. And it has the E2 logo on the
Wow.
sides of it. And last
There's
but not least, a fashionable chain duffel with the Greyhound logo. So the logo is a Greyhound, and then it has an E2, the E and the two connected on the leash.
That is wonderful. Crystal wants to know, are your samples for sale?
Actually, I need them to present to investors.
So,
And then
these
some things
questions.
I hold on to because I have museums calling, so I want to be able to show that Black creatives can operate and excel in the luxury sector. There are not many of us. We buy everything but us, and it's
Mhm,
stolen. Even many of my designs. The publicists call me and say, "Hey, we saw your bag. We saw your shoes."
mhm. I mean, but the questions speak to how much interest there is. So it that's wonderful to see. Everybody loves the pink booty. It say it's to die for. I know it's an outstanding shoe. So in addition to designing, and I don't know, maybe you just don't sleep. I'm not sure, but you
It's
also
few.
have, huh?
Sleep is little.
Sleep is little. Okay, okay, because you've also
The
carved out.
dreams are big.
Nice, nice. You've also carved out time to do good in the world. Can you talk a bit about Soulsville and kind of what's next for Soulsville?
Soulsville, the Etu Evans Foundation, is something that's very dear to my heart. In grad school at Columbia, I was spiritually led to just go out every night in Harlem at midnight. And I would go around with a shopping cart, and God would tell me where I would find the shoes. I would then take them back to my shop. I would repair them, they were refurbished. and then we put them on first time job seekers. We put them on their feet so they could put their best foot forward and uphold our motto, which is saving souls one step at a time. And our goal is to connect footprints around the world. And we do that through global shoe drives. We do an exhibit called Soul Out. We are currently talking with some high powered individuals in Atlanta about doing an exhibit. Very excited. In December, we are preparing for our Soulsville gala. It's going to be called Boots, Blazers, and Ball Gowns. So stay tuned and follow me on Instagram and Etu Evans, and you'll see the updates, how you can purchase tickets. Also, we are working on the web page now, so you'll get all of those updates there, or you can follow me also on Facebook. Well, I'm out of room on Facebook, but definitely on Instagram, you can catch your boy.
So two questions on Soulsville.
Yes.
One, what city for the gala, and can people donate shoes?
It's going to be in Atlanta, so we're really excited. This will be our second time doing it in Atlanta, but we ship shoes all around the world. So we're going to be taking donations because instead of collecting shoes and refurbishing shoes, the monies are going to be for us to have our own shoes, Soulsville shoes, that we can actually operate through our Shoebox Santa initiative. But we
Awesome.
will have a shoe drive leading up to that I will announce in Atlanta. I just don't want to take all the shoes from Harlem to
Sure.
Atlanta. Yeah, so it'll be Atlanta based. Once I find out who we're going to partner with, I'll definitely let you know.
And Crystal said we need to get you in some boutiques. And your homegirl says that we're hanging out in Atlanta for the gala. So more to come.
It will be lit, Adrian. I'm telling you.
Right?
Good.
so,
People are
so
calling for tickets already. I did an interview on the radio in Atlanta last Saturday. Um,
yes.
and the Deltas have already got in line. So, stay tuned. It's going down.
So we planned that weekend. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So what's next? What should we expect to see? What have we missed in our quick chat? Like what else is there?
Working on NFTs. I just signed a contract. There's going to be a big NFT conference. I'm waiting for the details. Have to put a few things in 3D, but excited about it. So
Now
I
share a little bit. What are NFTs? Because they're kind of new.
non-fungible tokens. So it's a way that artists protect themselves and their creativity. And what's unique about NFTs is that you don't have to have a physical product to sell. The cloud is owning it. So it's a different way of thinking.
Awesome, awesome. Well, and wait a minute, there was a Adrian said she's getting her gown ready. Um,
Adrian, it's blazers, boots, and ball gowns. So you need a gown and you need some boots.
oh, so it's the combination of it all. Got
Yes.
it. Got it.
So the women will be wearing gowns and boots, and the guys will either wear slacks or a dress boot. If you want to wear your go boots, but you have to wear a necktie, a bow tie, or ascot or a scarf.
Got it. Okay. All right. And so, in terms of any fashion tips that you want to share for us as we look at close it out, I mean, I'm quite sure there's so much, and you even kind of alluded to Fashion Week is about to happen. Any fashion tips we should be thinking, or any fashion tips on your mind that my audience should know about?
I would probably say address the Covinista. Because if you're in New York, no one is really dressed. I put on my tie for you and your audience. And I'm a suit guy, but everybody has become so relaxed because it's really not anywhere to go unless you're in Atlanta or moving closer south. I'm told. Uh, I would probably say don't let your basics become a place of boredom. You
Hmm.
can still wear your accessories with your sweatsuit. Um, you can still make it personalized to you, whether you cut the neck off, whether you stud it. Don't get stuck in expressing yourself. That's your power. Your power is in your self expression. Fashion can be bought, but style inherently lingers within the soul. That's your birthmark.
Whew, okay. On that note, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to hear about all that you're doing. On the fashion distraction, is one thing that we close with is there is one thing in life that you cannot get back, and that is time. So we thank you so much for sharing your time and talent with us,
It's
E2.
a pleasure.
Um, to the audience, thank you so much. You guys come back every Wednesday night and rock with me. I'm so grateful. Next week, we are going to cover designers for Black History Month. So more to come on that. And each you once again, thank you. And hold on. And I want to close out with the audience. Have
All
a great week,
right.
everybody.
Take care.